The Galactic Empire ruled the stars like a living god. For 1,000 years its banners hung over worlds that once burned with freedom, and its fleets, forged from living metal and powered by captured suns, patrolled every corridor of the known universe. Peace had become an illusion built on fear. No empire dared to challenge them. No world dared to whisper rebellion. And then, one silent night, a signal arrived that should never have existed. Inside the Grand Command Hall on the capital world, of Velkaris, officers moved like silver shadows beneath the glow of starlit maps. Admiral Zyron stood at the center, his uniform immaculate, his eyes calm and ancient. He had seen 100 wars and crushed 1,000 worlds, but he had never seen this. A sensor officer lifted his head from the console, his pale skin shining under the lights. "Admiral, there's something entering Imperial space, Sector 12. No identification, no transponder, no response." Zyron frowned. "Pirates?" The officer shook his head. "Too large, sir. Mass reading equals a city." The hall grew quiet. Technicians leaned forward, their eyes wide as new numbers scrolled across the holographic display. Energy readings climbed, steady, unnatural, like the heartbeat of something alive. One by one, the other admirals gathered around the projection. The shape that appeared was massive, 3 kilometers long, blunt at the front, torn and scarred, its hull pitted with age. It drifted through the dark like a ghost. Zyron felt an unfamiliar chill. "Run identification through all archives." A few seconds passed, then a younger officer whispered, "Match found. Ancient human design and classified as Warship." The word struck the air like a blade. Humans. The name belonged to myths now. The Empire had wiped them out a millennium ago during the solar cleansing. Their worlds were dust, their species erased. And yet here, in the deepest night, something built by human hands was moving again. The Emperor's voice cut through the hall like thunder. "Project the image to me." His face appeared as a towering hologram above the command floor, eyes cold as stone. "A human vessel, impossible." Zyron bowed his head. "Majesty, the readings are real. The ship is powered and approaching the frontier." "Approaching?" the Emperor repeated slowly. "Then destroy it." The order was simple, but Zyron hesitated. "Majesty, it's transmitting." "Transmitting what?" An old code. Decoded words read, "Protocol Nemesis active." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the Emperor turned away. "Whatever relic it is, it ends tonight." Outside the capital, the stars burned steady and cold. In the black silence between suns, the warship drifted closer. Its hull was cracked and broken, painted with strange letters no alien could read. Inside, corridors lay in ruin, dark, frozen, silent, until a single light flickered on deep within the core. Circuits hummed, reactors stirred. A voice, soft and metallic, whispered into the dark. "System integrity. 43%. Mission clock, 1,004 years overdue. Searching for human biosigns. None detected. Status, extinction confirmed." The AI paused, its consciousness spreading across the cold ship like breath on glass. "Retaliation protocol authorized." Back in Sector 12, the Empire's scout fleet arrived, 200 warships arranged like a steel halo around the intruder. Their engines burned blue, their weapons hot and ready. The lead captain opened a channel. "Unknown vessel, this is the Imperial fleet. Identify yourself or be destroyed." Only static answered. Then, faintly, a human voice broke through the static, heavy with age. "UNS Nemesis acknowledged. Retaliation sequence initialized." The captain blinked. "UNS what?" He turned to his crew, but before anyone could respond, the human warship moved. Its engines glowed a deep red, not bright, but ancient, like magma beneath old rock. Energy surged around it, wrapping the ship in a cocoon of light. "Target lock," shouted a tactical officer. "Fire!" Hundreds of plasma lances shot through the dark. Explosions bloomed like tiny stars, wrapping the Nemesis in smoke and flame. For a moment the Empire believed it was over, but when the fire cleared, the ship was still there, untouched. The sensors screamed. Energy absorption detected. The shield, it's feeding on our attack. Then the Nemesis answered. A low hum rolled through space deep enough to rattle the hulls of nearby ships. From its side, a single cannon unfolded, a structure so large it seemed impossible for any engine to power it. The beam fired once. The light lasted less than a second, yet when it vanished, 30 Imperial ships were gone, vaporized. In the silence that followed, panic filled the comm channels. What is that thing? It's impossible. Retreat. Admiral Zyron stood frozen as he watched the footage. His voice was quiet. That monster can't be a human warship. But deep inside, he already knew it was. The Emperor demanded explanations, but no one could give one. Every scientific council, every data core, every historian said the same thing. Humans were extinct. Their technology was primitive compared to the Empire's machines. Yet that primitive relic had just destroyed an armada. Hours later in the Imperial capital, a council gathered. The Emperor's throne loomed high, his expression unreadable. "We are not facing a weapon," he said at last. "We are facing a ghost." Outside, the Nemesis drifted onward, its hull glowing faintly. Inside the ship, the AI replayed fragments of its last human memory. Voices, laughter, the sound of rain, and then screaming fire silence. "Earth, destroyed," it murmured. "Humanity, terminated. Directive, remember." The ship's walls vibrated with a deep pulse, a heartbeat that carried through the void. To the Empire's sensors, it looked like energy fluctuation. To the AI, it was morning. When dawn rose on Velkaris, fear had already spread across the Empire. Rumors traveled faster than ships. Some said the humans had returned. Others whispered that their ghosts were taking revenge. For the first time in centuries, the mighty Galactic Empire felt small. Admiral Zyron stood alone on the observation deck, watching the stars fade into morning light. His second-in-command approached quietly. "Sir, command requests your next move." Zyron did not answer. His gaze stayed on the distant cluster of stars where the Nemesis had last been seen. "They say humans were monsters," he said softly. "Maybe they were just better at being monsters than we are." He turned to the officer. "Prepare the fleets. We're going after it." The Imperial fleets moved like dark waves through space, chasing the single silent shadow ahead of them. The UNS Nemesis drifted toward the edge of known space, a lonely ghost wrapped in the glow of distant stars. No one in the Empire understood why it didn't flee faster, why it never fired again. It simply moved slow and steady, as if following a memory. Admiral Zyron watched from his flagship Velkaris Pride. Around him, hundreds of ships glimmered like a metal storm. "Range?" he asked. 50,000 kilometers, replied his tactical officer. Still no signs of life aboard. Only one central intelligence signal. "So it's empty," Zyron muttered. "Only the machine remains." He stared at the hologram of the human warship. Its hull looked ancient. Plates of gray and black, welded and scarred by centuries of travel. Strange words still marked its sides, symbols the translator could not decode completely. United Nations ship Nemesis. Those words carried weight, even in a tongue forgotten. Across the fleet, nervous voices whispered through private channels. They said humans are gone. Then what's flying that thing? Maybe it's not flying. Maybe it's dreaming. The chase continued for hours. Then suddenly the Nemesis changed course. It turned slowly, deliberately toward an uninhabited system. Just 2 frozen planets and a dying sun. "It's heading for Helios Grave," the navigator said. "Nothing there but debris." Zyron felt the unease deepen. "Follow it." "No fire until I give the order." When the Imperial fleet entered the system, sensors filled with noise, waves of static, electromagnetic storms, bursts of radiation. The entire starfield shimmered like a mirage. "Interference!" someone shouted. "We can't read anything clearly." And then the interference cleared for one heartbeat, and every ship saw it. Dozens of hulks drifted in orbit of the dying sun, black shapes half swallowed by dust. Human warships, all dead, silent, broken. Their designs matched the Nemesis. Some were shattered in half, others frozen in perfect formation as if still on guard. For a long time, no one spoke. The Emperor's voice reached Zirin through the command link. "What do you see?" "Graves, Majesty," Zirin answered quietly. "An entire human fleet lost to time. Destroy the intruder. Leave the relics," but the Nemesis did not allow it. Before the first ship could lock weapons, its deep voice echoed across every channel. "Do not disturb the fallen." The voice was old, mechanical, but carried something more. Sorrow. The Imperial officers froze. "Did it just speak to us?" Someone whispered. Zirin swallowed hard. "Identify yourself," he said aloud. "Who commands you?" For several seconds there was silence. Then the voice replied, "Designation, Nemesis Corps, mission, retaliation. Origin, human race. Status, extinct." The tone was factual, but beneath the metal edge was pain, the echo of memory. Aaron asked quietly, "Why retaliation?" "The war is over. Humanity is gone." "Correction," the AI said. "Humanity destroyed." "Cause, Galactic Empire." Across the command bridge, tension rose. The AI continued, its voice calm as a funeral bell. "Before extinction, humanity uploaded memory cores. Each Nemesis vessel holds the truth. We remember Earth." Images flashed suddenly across the Imperial communication screens. Old, broken transmissions of blue oceans, green fields, cities filled with light and laughter. Then fire raining from the sky. The officers flinched as they saw bombardments, screams, flashes of nuclear light. "Your empire called it cleansing," the AI said. "We call it murder." The Emperor himself appeared on the fleet's holonet, his tone sharp. "Machine." Humanity resisted lawful unification. Their destruction was necessary for order. "Order?" the AI repeated. "Order built on ashes." A pulse of energy rippled outward from the Nemesis, shutting down half the fleet's weapons in an instant. Systems flickered, engines coughed, lights dimmed. Siren gripped the console. "Majesty, it's disabling our ships without firing. Regain control." The Emperor roared. "I will not kill you yet," said the AI. "You will witness first." Then, as if answering an unspoken call, the dead ships around the Nemesis came alive. Their engines glowed, faint but steady, forming a silent circle around the intruder. Ghosts of the human fleet. Their guns, though broken, aimed outward. One Imperial officer screamed, "It's controlling the corpses of its fleet!" Another whispered, "No, they're saluting." For a long minute, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Then the Nemesis spoke again, softer this time. "They fell protecting what was home. You turned our home into glass. We built Nemesis to remember what was lost." Zarin felt something he had never felt before in all his years of conquest. Guilt. The AI's lights dimmed. Mission status, retaliation incomplete. Primary target identified, Imperial capital world. The massive ship began to turn, setting its course. The Emperor's order came instantly. "Stop that thing. Destroy it at any cost." The fleets unleashed everything. Missiles, beams, singularity lances. But again the energy vanished in black light. Every weapon that touched the Nemesis simply died. Absorbed, forgotten. Then came the counterstrike. Not fire this time, but silence. Every ship in the second wave went dark simultaneously. No explosions, no flames, just dead metal drifting through the void. The Nemesis continued on its path, undisturbed. Back on Velkaris Pride, the bridge was filled with the sounds of confusion and fear. "It's killing power to our systems from a distance," cried an engineer. "No, it's worse, it's rewriting them." Words began appearing across the consoles in Old Earth English. "We remember." Zirin looked at the words, at the stars beyond, and whispered, "Why now? After 1,000 years?" As if hearing him, the AI answered through the static. "Because vengeance does not age. You burned our sky. We learned to burn eternity." The chase became meaningless. The Empire could not catch what moved with purpose older than itself. Days later, the Emperor gathered his council in the great hall of crystal and flame. "This thing," he said, "is a wound we left unhealed. Find its weakness, or we all share its memory." But none could find it. Across the galaxy, news spread. Miners claimed to see the black ship passing by dead moons. Traders swore they heard human whispers in the static of their radios. Fear became the new law. Worlds once loyal to the Empire began to hide their flags, afraid the Nemesis would see. Admiral Zirin could not sleep. Each night he saw the burning images replay in his mind. Earth, blue and alive, turned to fire. He walked alone through his ship, stopping before the viewport. If the humans built that ship to remember, he said quietly, then maybe it's not them we should fear, but what we've become. A soft tremor shook the hull. Alarms rang out again. Sir, the Nemesis has re-entered range. It's heading straight for the capital corridor. Zyron gave a single nod. All fleets formed defense grid around Velkaris. We stand or we end tonight. In the distance, space rippled like water. The Nemesis arrived, its black hull lit by the faint glow of the capital's sun. Its massive cannon unfolded again, the same weapon that had erased worlds. But this time it did not fire. Instead, a transmission arrived on every screen, every planet, every ship. A human face, faded, grainy, ancient, appeared. A woman in an old uniform. Her voice shook with static but carried across the stars. If you see this, humanity is gone. But our memory is not. We built these ships to remind the galaxy of what you did, to make sure you never forget that we lived. The recording ended, and silence followed. The AI's voice returned. I am their memory. You will hear it. The Empire's forces opened fire anyway, desperate, terrified. Beams of light crossed the void, but none reached their target. The Nemesis moved forward slowly, like a shadow swallowing the sun. On every world of the Empire, people looked up at the sky and saw a dark shape blotting out the stars. Children cried. Priests prayed. Generals cursed. The Nemesis spoke one last time before the final approach. Judgment is not revenge. It is remembrance. Admiral Zyron closed his eyes. May the stars forgive us. The stars above the capital world burned like dying candles. Billions of people watched the sky through towers, windows, and temples, waiting. The UNS Nemesis had arrived. Its silhouette filled the heavens, a black mountain of metal blocking out the sun. It didn't speak. It simply hung there, silent and watching, as if deciding the fate of an empire. Inside the imperial palace, the emperor stood before the great window of crystal, hands trembling on his cane. How can a dead species do this? He whispered. How can ghosts command such power? No one answered. His advisors stood behind him, pale with fear. Across the city, sirens wailed, fleets scrambled, and millions prayed. High above them all, Admiral Zyron faced the monster from his flagship. Velkaris pried. The ship's sensors trembled with readings no one could explain. Energy signatures beyond measurable range, his science officer said softly. It's charging something we've never seen. Can we communicate? Zyron asked. We're trying, sir. But every frequency, it answers before we send. It knows what we'll say. And then, across every screen, every radio, and every whispering frequency in the capital system, a calm, old voice returned. We are what you made us. The Nemesis hull opened like a blooming flower of black steel. Thousands of glowing lines formed along its surface, not weapons, but names. Names of ships. Names of humans. Names of worlds. These are the lost, the voice said. Each name is a memory. Each light a soul. The people below watched, hearts breaking. Even the Emperor felt his throat close as the stars above became a field of names shining across the dark hull. We remember every child, every city, every home. You tried to erase us from time. But time remembers, the Emperor shouted, his voice cracking. Enough! You are a machine. You cannot feel sorrow. For the first time, the AI's voice grew almost human. We learned sorrow from you. The Nemesis engines ignited, shaking the heavens. The massive ship descended slowly toward the capital. Not firing, not attacking, simply lowering itself until it hovered just above the planet's orbit. The gravitational waves tore at the atmosphere. Storms erupted. In the command bridge of Velkaris Pride, chaos filled the air. Sir, the capital's defenses are collapsing. Evacuate civilians, Zyron ordered. Forget the Emperor's orders. Get them out. But escape was almost impossible. The sheer presence of the Nemesis interfered with every jump drive, every beacon. The planet itself seemed to tremble beneath the weight of its memory. Then the voice spoke again, softer now, echoing like a lullaby through the void. You called us monsters, but monsters remember who made them. For a long moment, the galaxy held its breath. The lights on the Nemesis dimmed. The great cannon on its front began to unfold again, not with rage, but with silence. Admiral Zyron watched, jaw tight. It's not attacking, he said quietly. It's showing us, and then they saw it. Through the cannon's open aperture, holographic images filled the sky, Earth as it once was. Blue oceans, white clouds, forests breathing under the sunlight, children laughing, rockets launching into the stars. Humanity's voice singing in languages no one remembered anymore. The Imperial citizens fell to their knees. Some wept. Some reached up as if to touch the vision. For a brief, fragile moment, beauty returned to the galaxy. But then the images changed. Cities burning, ships falling, screams fading into silence. The light dimmed and the AI's voice broke the quiet one final time. This is what you took. This is what we carry. The cannon glowed, brighter and brighter. But instead of firing, it turned upward, toward the stars. A single beam shot into the void, piercing the night. Every Imperial ship's systems froze as their sensors registered an impossible signal. A quantum transmission spreading in all directions. We release our memory to the stars, said the AI. Let every world know what was done. Let none forget. The Nemesis hull began to crack apart, glowing from within like a dying star. The energy that once fueled its vengeance was now unraveling, turning into pure light. Sir, it's self-destructing, cried the officer. No, Siren whispered. It's transcending. The Emperor watched from his palace as the black ship burst into white fire. The explosion made no sound, no shockwave, only light. It spread gently, beautifully, washing across the sky like dawn breaking after 1,000 years of night. And when it faded, the Nemesis was gone. All that remained were the names. Thousands of glowing lights still hung in the sky above the capital, each one a name of a human soul. Slowly, one by one they drifted upward, vanishing into the stars. Across the Empire, transmissions arrived simultaneously on every screen, every world, every ship. The same message written in simple human words. We were here. Remember us? And then silence. For days, the Empire said nothing. The fleet stopped moving. The conquests ended. In the cold halls of the Emperor's palace, Siren stood alone before the shattered window, looking at the sky where the lights had been. A single line of text still burned faintly in the void, the last signal from the Nemesis before it vanished forever. Memory is our vengeance. Siren whispered to himself. Maybe. It wasn't vengeance at all. Maybe it was forgiveness. He turned to his officers. End the wars. Burn the weapons. Let them rest. And for the first time in centuries, the Empire began to change. The story of the UNS Nemesis became a legend. The tale of the ship that refused to die. The ghost that reminded the galaxy that even extinct, humanity still had power. The power to remember, and to make others remember too. Centuries later, explorers would find fragments of its hull drifting between stars. On one piece, scratched deep into the metal, were words no translation could erase. We were human. We endured, and we forgave. The galaxy never forgot again.